If your music release flopped, you probably fell victim to this one mistake. You can't rely on your music alone to generate the traffic that you need to grow. So in this video, I'm gonna help you uninstall that mindset that's holding you back, and I'm gonna help you reinstall some new software in your brain so that you can market and see your music career the correct way, so that you can be a visionary for your own success and know exactly what to do when you're releasing your music. First, traffic needs to be generated for your music. We know that. You're living that every single day when you see 0 streams on Spotify or low engagement on your Instagram, right? The traffic is what brings people to your world. And of course, I'm also talking about the digital elements of your musical world, like your social media, your music catalog on Spotify, and your website and the rest of it, okay? And so traffic needs to be generated and it needs to be driven. And so instead of your music magically attracting people like a magnet, which doesn't make sense, how can your music attract people that it's not even in front of, right? Instead of thinking of it like that, traffic needs to be driven to your music through a set of intentional actions. As musicians, we're used to doing intentional things around our music, such as the production, right? The instruments that we're selecting for the songs, the lyrics that we're writing are all intentional. But once we release the song, we just throw it into DistroKid so it could get on Spotify. And for some reason, the intentionality seems to go away. And we start to think that everything's going to become automatic. We can be hands off. The streams will just come from Spotify, right? Or the views will just come from the Instagram algorithm. But that's not how it works. That same intentionality that went into creating your song should go into intentional traffic generation. And some examples of that are creating organic content. This is the free way to get traffic, but it only works if you follow certain formulas and video structures when you upload your content online. Creating content is not just, I'm going to put out what feels good to me without any awareness for video watch time, right? How long is someone watching you? What are you saying in the first few seconds of the video to hook them in? What are you doing at the end of your social media video, which is called a call to action? Those are just some examples of how a video needs to be crafted in order to achieve the specific goal, an intentional video for intentional traffic generation. But creating videos and uploading them to Instagram or TikTok is not the only way to intentionally drive traffic. There's also influencer marketing. In this digital world, when you upload your own video, you're basically the influencer and the ambassador for your own art. But it doesn't always have to be you. Influencer marketing is when you partner with someone else or some other audience owner, and their audience gets leveraged for your traffic and your awareness. An example of this is getting onto Spotify playlists, and I recommend that every artist does, because it's a great way to get streams on your song and to get that catalog awareness intentionally, because you're seeking out those playlist owners or a playlisting agency like ours so that your song can get inserted into a stream of traffic. Real quick, I want to give you a free gift for hanging out with me today. It's my free course called the Spotify Playlist Marketing Manual. It's an easy to consume 60-minute free course that shows you the full roadmap, going from 0 streams to your first 1,000 monthly listeners to over 25,000 and beyond. In this training, I reveal what Spotify actually wants to see from you to trigger the algorithm and get free streams every time you release a new song. And I also cover how to develop multiple streams of traffic to your Spotify, including playlists, so that you could get new listeners and song saves every single day. Look, these are the same things that me and my team do for our artists at the marketing agency, and I want to share them with you inside this free training. So if you want to build an effective marketing plan for your music, whether it's a new release or your existing catalog, this training is for you. It's completely free and you can get access instantly. Just register your spot by going to indiemusicacademy.com/playlists. Now back to our video. So far, we've covered creating your own content to generate traffic yourself as your own musical ambassador. Then we covered influencer marketing, where you're borrowing someone else's audience. And then the third way to intentionally generate traffic is by setting up a meta ads campaign using paid advertising, which I think we're all familiar with because almost every online platform has some form of ads, and you can be the one running the ads for your music. Instead of leaving your posts up to chance by posting organically and seeing what the organic algorithm does, you can craft your videos differently because you don't have to follow the organic viral trends, and instead you can pay for the impressions. And if you're not familiar with how this works, I'll link a video right here so that you can check out how meta ads work. I walk you through how to build a very simple introductory campaign, which can be a great first step for you if you've never done it before. And if you watch that whole video, it should lead to another video that shows you a second type of campaign for your music. So click here or wherever it is to find that video and save that for later. Now, when you're intentionally driving traffic to your music, this is the next step that you need to understand. This is like level 2 understanding of traffic generation. And it's that not all traffic is going to do the same thing, and not all traffic is going to result in the same outcome. The destination drives the desire. Here's an example of that. If you are creating a meta ads campaign and you set your destination of your ad to be your Spotify profile, the destination is going to determine the desire that the fan has once they arrive there. So if the destination is your Spotify profile and they see that big follow button next to your picture and they love the sound that they're hearing while they're listening to your music, that follow button being present at the marketing destination is going to yield a higher percentage of people clicking that follow button. That's why I always say, just in shorthand, that meta ads are great for attracting Spotify followers, right? Because you control the destination and that follow button is right there. But if you contrast that to social media posting, right? Social media is kind of its own little world. It's very hard to get someone to stop scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and to perform an action off-site, off of the social media platform. And so that destination, that environment is going to result in a lot more post engagement and profile follows, but they're not necessarily going to leave the platform in high numbers. And you might be seeing this already where you're posting regularly, but it's not really impacting anything outside of social media, right? It's not impacting your website or Spotify. Your streams are not going up. And that's because there's no desire for the user to even leave social media at all. That's why it's so hard getting a result with organic content if you're not following specific structures. That's why meta ads are really good at some things when other marketing styles are not that great at them. And this is a universal truth. The perfect example of this is Spotify playlists, because the listener is already in that playlist. They're already in a listening mode by the time they come across your song. So that's why Spotify playlists are so effective at getting a high number of streams per the dollar invested or the time invested. They're already listening, so streams just happen easily compared to other marketing styles. However, that listener is also inside of a playlist nowhere near your artist profile, so that follow button isn't there. They are nowhere near your social media, so you're not going to see that much social media engagement from a Spotify playlist. The things that will happen, though, are the actions that make sense in the context of Spotify playlists, right? The destination determines the desire. So if they're listening in a Spotify playlist, that means that they are really likely to drag your song to their own playlist. And this is what I've seen in thousands of campaigns. I have the data to prove this. And they are also going to click the save button on your song because the save button is right there next to the track title. So those actions make sense because it's in front of the user. So when you're determining your traffic strategy, understand that one campaign isn't going to solve all of the hopes and desires that are on your vision board as an artist, right? This is true for playlisting, this is true for meta ads, and even for organic posting, right? You can have a post go viral. It can get 1 million views and it's still not going to do every single thing that you're probably hoping for as an artist. And the same thing is true with paid advertising through Meta. In fact, I always advise to my clients when I'm setting up campaigns for them to make sure that every campaign just has one goal, right? When we set up a campaign and we're filming the videos and we have to decide what is going to be the end destination of that campaign, it needs to just be one thing. And there's one action that we're measuring as far as the success of that campaign. And that is a really good way to market. It makes it easy to measure success and to know when something's working or not. So far, here's what we've covered. Traffic needs to be driven through intentional actions. Not all traffic will do the same thing. And lastly, I believe that traffic should be plentiful and come from a variety of sources. And here's why. Traffic to your music is the lifeblood of everything you could possibly want in your career, whether that's to sell out shows in person with a screaming audience in front of you. Traffic needs to come first. Or even if it's as simple as doubling or tripling the amount of comments that you're getting on your videos on social media, that too also starts with traffic. Everything you can possibly want, from merch sales to landing that producer to getting that booking manager to allow you to play in the festival, everything hinges on getting that traffic first. Because if you don't have catalog consumption, right? People consuming your music catalog and listening to your music, then they're not going to relate with you. They're not going to move further along your fan journey and perform actions down the road on your fan journey, like purchasing or showing up in person. So if you're thinking and strategizing about your music and asking what is important, what should I be focusing on, I believe that traffic should be near the top of the list, because everything starts with traffic. Another reason why traffic should be abundant and just flowing into your music career is because you never know when something just might turn off. You never know when a post that used to be getting a lot of views might fall out of favor in the algorithm. In fact, I have a friend whose entire Instagram account got shut down because of some policy violations, and it turned out to be a mistake. His account got reinstated, but that was a 4 to 5 month period of appealing to Instagram to get his account back. But during that time, every single post that was getting seen by people, he had tens of thousands of followers. It was all removed from the platform, and it really shined a light that he didn't really control anything about his Instagram profile. It just got shut off, right? And that's why I'm a big proponent, a big supporter of email lists. Email lists can never get taken away from you. You'd have to accidentally delete it yourself, which would be unfortunate. Please back up your email list if you have one. But no matter what you do, just understand that a traffic source can just disappear and it can just turn off. And literally, quite literally, even if you're running meta ads, those can get turned off as well. Literally, there's an on and off button. And for various reasons, maybe you're not releasing music at a rate fast enough for meta ads to be worth it. And so you have to literally turn them off. And you're going to wish that you had other songs or other traffic generation strategies that are working for you. You never know when something will just get shut off. And even if you don't have any technical glitches or errors or your account getting banned, even just releasing music at too slow of a rate can cause you to fall out of favor in the algorithm. And you not releasing music fast enough can mean that your organic reach is just at an all-time low, and you're going to wish that you had other methods of traffic that were working for you. Maybe those methods of traffic are promoting older songs. For example, maybe you have a meta campaign that's promoting one of your older releases, but it's still getting a good cost per result, and it's driving people to your music every single day because it was tested really well. And that campaign that's in evergreen mode, that's working around the clock, whether you release music or not, is not affected by the organic algorithm and the rest of the world and whatever your output happens to be. Another example would be submitting an older song to Spotify playlists, right? And pitching that and getting a placement for an older song. You can do that time and time again, and it doesn't even matter if you have a recent release, because most curators will place you if they like the sound of the track, regardless of how old it is. And so all that being said, if something just gets turned off, it's going to be helpful if you have multiple traffic strategies at your disposal so you can continue growing even if something goes wrong. And that brings me to my final point of the video. Doing what needs to be done as an artist is so much easier when you have your fans supporting you and pushing you to be the best version of yourself, right? If you have traffic, every difficult task becomes easier because you're doing it for someone, literally someone who's enjoying your music, experiencing your music. And if you are having a hard time coming up with ideas for what you need to do for your fans, it might be because you haven't gotten new fans lately. It might be because you don't have that fire lit under your butt because new people are not discovering your music today, and you need to do something for them this week. Otherwise, they're going to move on to the next thing that they've discovered in their scroll, or they're just going to forget about your amazing song that they've only heard once so far, and you need to expose it to them a second, third, and fourth time so that it can get stuck in their head and they return to you. All of that brainstorming that I just did for you right now is like a second layer above your traffic generation strategy. It's that nurture strategy that happens after they discover you. And it's really hard to think about nurture. It's really hard to graduate to next level problems when you're still stuck with your traffic generation strategy. It just really is. And I know this firsthand as someone who generates tons of traffic every single day for my own personal brand, my own personal business, and my own personal music. I know this, and every day I don't wake up the same way. I don't wake up with the same energy or the same amount of ideas. I'm human. I have my on and my off days, but I have to show up to work to serve my audience. And believe me, when you have new people discovering you every single day, that's a feeling that can't be synthesized any other way. That's a feeling that you need to experience to know. And once you have your traffic generation strategy figured out, I believe it's going to ignite new purpose in your music career because you'll start thinking, how am I going to keep these people engaged in my music brand and keep them in my world so that I can eventually take them from discovering me all the way to knowing me? Let me know in the comments what you need help with. Either comment traffic, which is the first step, or nurture, which is the second step after you already have traffic coming to your music. Drop that word in the comments below so I can see it. And also check out the video description because in just a few weeks, I'm going to be opening the doors to my Get More Fans 5-day challenge, where for 5 days, I'm going to help you get more fans for your music. Most musicians are throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks when it comes to building their fan base. And maybe that's you. You post randomly on social media, play gigs to empty rooms, and wonder why nobody cares about your music. But there's a simple system that turns casual listeners into raving fans who actually show up to your shows and buy your stuff, right? This is the full journey I'm talking about, from discovery to nurture to the sale. And the musicians that figure this out aren't necessarily more talented than you. They just know how to generate traffic and create genuine connections with people who really dig their sound. And that's why I created this challenge, to solve this with you. This challenge walks you through the exact steps to build that magnetic brand after they discover you. We're talking about turning strangers into people who genuinely can't wait for your next release. I've helped artists who are just capped and cannot sell more than 20 or 30 tickets go from selling out their local venues using these methods. And not because they suddenly changed anything about their music, but because they learned how to get discovered and make people actually care and take action. And if you sign up to this 5-day challenge, you'll get the roadmap that shows you exactly how to attract the right fans, keep them engaged, and turn them into your personal street team that literally shows up for you in person. And look, the reason I made this a 5-day challenge is because I wanted to get in front of you, work with you. This isn't a course, and this isn't some fluffy believe in yourself nonsense. This is going to transform you into the type of person that can build a fan base around your music. And by the end of the 5 days, my goal is that your life is changed forever. I want you to leave these 5 days transformed, not just processing another info dump or another course. So reserve your seat by clicking the description below for the Get More Fans Challenge, and I'll show you how to stop being invisible and to start building the following your music deserves. So with that, thanks so much for watching to the end of this video. Click the link in the description to check out the 5-day challenge, and I hope to see you there.